Welcome back to AM Buffalo. We are standing with a star today, Journey Gunderson. Oh, well, Mel too.
I thought you were talking about the dress, and I'm very excited that. Anyway.
Yes, well, that's true. Look how perfectly matched she is. I think it's kind of amazing. Like, where did you find that shirt?
It's from the archives.
It's from the archives, yeah.
I'll be wearing that.
Yeah, because remember I got lost here at the National Comedy Centre 2 weeks ago. That's where I've been hanging out.
She's been rummaging around. So the funny part about this is the reason why I was saying we were standing with a star is because Journey Gunderson, the executive director of the National Comedy Center, is actually in the documentary we were just about to talk about, Lucy and Desi, directed by Amy Poehler. How exciting is that? Are you excited that you get to be on Prime?
Oh, it's an honor. I mean, especially with that subject matter.
Yes.
You know, Amy Poehler is already someone that anybody who knows comedy should have a tremendous amount of respect for. And then for her to take on as a director, conveying the story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz is a remarkable opportunity because of the lens through which she looks at comedy, from her own experience, obviously. Yes. So she spent a significant amount of time here in Jamestown in that process, just learning about the full Lucy and Desi story, but also getting a feel for the hometown of Lucille Ball and putting herself in the shoes of the woman and where she grew up. And I think that allowed her to really capture the essence of the story. She also spent a great deal of time with her crew examining and filming and shooting our artifacts from the archives of the National Comedy Center, which are depicted beautifully in the film. It's an incredible documentary.
You've already seen it, huh?
I was privileged to get a screener of it in advance, and I was interviewed as well as our director of archives and so many other greats like Carol Burnett, whose costumes, of course, here are behind us. And even this piece, the most iconic polka dotted dress that we all know and love, is in the opening titles of the film. It's a really well done documentary, and we really appreciate the care with which Amy Poehler took on this amazing story.
And Amy fell in love with Jamestown when she was here. Did she? Is that, or is that it's a rumor I heard, but is it true?
I would say yes. I mean, she seemed to really enjoy her time here. I know that she bopped around the farmer's market while in town, which was kind of a thrill for many involved.
Did people recognize her, or were they not expecting to see Amy Poehler in town?
I think it was a little bit of both. And, you know, I think the really neat thing about Amy is it's all about the work. You know, you could see that she was here primarily to get the story right and spend every second that she could making sure that the homage to Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz that she was at the helm of was done right. And one thing that's really interesting is that I think the documentary has nuance and room for interpretation, just like the stories of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. So to me, I think there's nothing better in a documentary than sort of presenting the story for exactly what it was as accurately as possible. And in this case, in the voices of Lucy and Desi themselves for the vast majority of the film. And then allowing people to take from it their own interpretation of those legacies.
Wow. Now, folks should understand that Amy Poehler will be in town this afternoon because she's doing a press tour all over, and she happens to be in Western New York because she is promoting, of course, the fact that this documentary you'll be able to watch this on Prime if you have that streaming service on Friday, which is really kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But there's a screening, it's private, that's happening today. So she'll be here talking to local media. How exciting is that?
Well, anytime there are 3 film premieres, and it's Los Angeles, New York, and Jamestown, you have to chuckle and go, like, how often are those 3 cities put together? But in this case, they are, because it's the hometown of Lucille Ball, and because Amy Poehler, again, had such an incredible experience here in the process of making that film. So it's an honor that she chose to do a premiere here in Jamestown, and it's not unlike Lucille Ball deciding to do the premiere of her first film with Desi Arnaz, Forever Darling, here in her hometown of Jamestown in 1956.
That is awesome.
Lucy magic. Like I always say this in Jamestown, there is a big Lucy presence, and I think that she really is like a guardian angel of the city, really.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true that energy and presence lives on. And, you know, it was Lucille Ball who said to Jamestown in the late 80s, don't just build a museum about me. Don't just look at my things in glass cases as we stand before them. But Lucille Ball said to Jamestown, make Jamestown a destination for the celebration of all comedy, a study of the art form of comedy, because it deserves a national scale cultural institution. And that's where we stand today in the National Comedy Center. It was her vision.
And this year is the 70th anniversary of I Love Lucy. They're celebrating it all year. Take a look at how special this is. Journey, this is a big deal. 70 years of I Love Lucy.
Well, I Love Lucy is arguably one of the most successful sitcoms of all time by several measures. And it was also groundbreaking. You know, in the context of the entertainment industry, here you had Lucille Ball, a woman, and her husband, Desi Arnaz, a Cuban man in 1949, taking on the executives at CBS, and Lucille Ball saying, I want Desi to play my husband on the show. Executives at the time at CBS said, they kind of balked and said, I don't know if American audiences are going to embrace you as a couple or believe that you're married. They took the show on the road vaudeville style to sort of prove that American audiences would embrace them. And the rest is history. They went on to create not just one of the most successful shows of all time, but one of the most powerful and successful entertainment studios of its era with Desi Lu.
I can't even wrap my mind around the fact that we are right now sitting on the I Love Lucy set.
That's right. It's one of the most iconic and beloved sets in television history, and here we are.
This is actually an opportunity for everyone in Western New York to enjoy.
Yes, in celebration of the 70th anniversary of I Love Lucy, we are now allowing museum attendees and visitors to access a photo op on this set. And, you know, for many people, this is the first time they're seeing the set in color.
This is a very different set, but one people will still recognize. Can you tell us about the significance of the Hollywood set?
Yes, so this is the Hollywood Hotel Suite that was home to the Ricardos for 18 episodes later in the series. It is set in the fictional Beverly Palms Hotel, and this is when the Ricardos and Mertz relocate out west to Hollywood, which sets the stage for interactions between Lucille Ball and some of the most popular celebrities of the time period.
Fun fact time. Did you know that Lucy was a natural brunette? It took 15 gallons of Hennerins to keep her hair bright red. I Love Lucy aired in 77 different countries, and it was translated into 22 different languages. Us being in TV, when we see the numbers that Lucy's TV show brought, the number of eyeballs that we're watching at any given time, we don't have anything that even compares. There is not a show, modern show, that does what Lucy's show did.
The 1952-1953 season of I Love Lucy still holds the record for highest average rating for a season, likely a record that will never be broken, and that peaked with the January 19th, 1953 airing of the episode in which Lucy Ricardo gives birth to little Ricky. 72% of households with televisions were tuned in, and 92% of televisions on at that moment were watching that episode.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that this completely dwarfed in the ratings the very next day's first ever televised presidential inauguration of Dwight Eisenhower by about 15 million viewers.
I mean, that's amazing.
We're really treating the entire year as a celebration of the 70th anniversary of I Love Lucy, and so this is really in many ways the kickoff. There's never been a better time to visit Jamestown, New York, and relish either in the I Love Lucy nostalgia, and then of course you can just enjoy laughing all day for more than a few days if you'd like to consume it all at the National Comedy Center, again, which was her vision. This is the year to come and spend some time here in Jamestown and enjoy the legacy that Lucille Ball left.
We love Lucy, and we are here at the National Comedy Centre in Jamestown celebrating the release of the Lucy and Desi documentary, which you can watch on Prime as of this Friday. And you know what? We're talking about the magic of Lucy in Jamestown.
Yes.
Well, we have a bit of a fun story that we did in the summer, Lucy spotting, that is on the way on AM Buffalo, so stick around. We'll be back very soon.